Working on a railway is a dream job for many people. The NYMR couldn't survive without its volunteers. People like Stephen Hogg, an accountant by trade who acts as finance director and guard. Then there's driver John Green and travelling chef, no actually I mean fireman really, Mr John Gander.
Cooking on the shovel is something that's got to be done. It surprises members of the public and indeed some of the crews to find out that it's still done as in the old traditional ways. But the minimum time you can do a quick breakfast is about 15 minutes, so that limits how often we can get away with doing it really. It's alright if you've got an hour's layover at lunchtime perhaps, or you get delayed at the station. Egg butter you can do in about 5 minutes.
How long have you been a volunteer then?
Long enough so I can't claim that I'm only learning. About 15 years I think now. Start off in the morning getting the loco ready. On this railway there are a group of cleaners that light up the engines, so firemen don't have to do that. But after I've booked on and checked the notices in the cabinets at the shed and signed on to prove I'm fit and healthy and not under the influence of alcohol and drugs, sign the daily record and then check which loco I'm on, proceed to the loco and then join the driver in getting the loco ready to enter service.
Well, I've always been interested in railways, and when I was a child I lived on a farm about 4 miles from Gromont actually, so during the summer holidays from school and university I used to volunteer here, and it's just carried on from there, and now I'm full-time employment and a family, etc. I still manage to make time to get down here at weekends. So I started as a cleaner, starting the 5 o'clock turns in the morning, then went on to do the riding out turns that Rob, who's on the other side of the footplate here, is doing, where you learn how to fire, and eventually as you progress through you take all your rules exams and eventually a driver's exam and you become a driver, which I did in about 14 years altogether, but if you've got a lot more time available you could do it much quicker than that.
Andy McKenna informed you'll stop when it gets to the loco end of the Whitby, ever.
Okay. I've been volunteering now 25 years, near enough, and I did my growing up here, as did sort of a whole generation of us. So you're part of a bigger team. Like a family, you can have your fallings out as well as your gettings on, but it's a sense of achievement and a sense of what sort of makes it work. What really gives you that buzz is when it works, when you manage to keep the thing going, even if things are getting a bit adverse, get back to time, and the pleasure that we give other people above all, the pleasure we give the passengers. I feel as though I'm doing something useful and putting something back into the area, and I mean, I've always said my aim with the sort of the finance directors and member of the governing body hat on is that we hand on a railway that's at least as good and preferably better than the one we inherited to the next generation, and make sure it's here for the next generation. When we get to Whitby, I'm afraid everybody has to get off the train because we need to push it into a siding to get the engine on the other end. So if you can get off through the doors at the end, it'll be on that side. Please don't open the door till we come to a complete stand.
Sorry, you won't know what time that's going to be. I mean, we were hoping because initially there was a half an hour.
Well, it'll be about 20 minutes because pushing it out, running around and coming back in can't be done much quicker than 20 minutes. Yeah, you should have time to. There's a chip shops are that way out the station, just at the end of where the tourist information. The volunteers are absolutely vital. This line was closed by Dr. Beecham because it wasn't viable. Steam engines were got rid of because they're so labour intensive. You can't really try to operate the sort of service we do if you're paying everybody that you need to run a steam train service. The paid and the volunteer staff would not be here without each other. There is no way the railway could keep going. We constantly need more volunteers to come on board, train through, and there's such a huge variety of jobs you can do. Not all necessarily need training. You can come and help on the stations, that sort of handyman type work. There's all the operating side which does require training and gaining experience. There's even things that you can do at home. we desperately need people to look for grants and sources of funding to complete the sort of paperwork that's needed for that these days. I do feel an immense pride in what the railway does, in the intensity of our operation, how we deal with things when they don't always go according to plan. The fact we run on Network Rail, what we've built here, it gives so much pleasure to so many people, and I think that is something that you can be so proud of being a part of.